Welcome, treasure hunters and history lovers. Today we're diving into the jaw-dropping story of a tiny coin with unimaginable power, the legendary top 6 most valuable and most expensive United Kingdom King George V 1 penny. This is no ordinary pocket change. This is a millionaire maker, a life changer, a piece of bronze that could turn you into a billionaire overnight. Stay with me, because what you're about to discover will ignite your curiosity, fuel your dreams, and might just have you checking every coin you own. Let's get started. First up, in the 1929 United Kingdom, 1 penny featuring King George V is no ordinary coin. It's a majestic relic of a bygone era, steeped in power, tradition, and prestige. Struck at the Royal Mint in London during a time when the British Empire stretched across the globe, this coin carries not only the image of a powerful monarch, but also the weight of a vast empire's legacy. Collectors worldwide have chased this piece with an almost feverish passion, driving its value into astronomical territory. This isn't just currency. It's a golden ticket to unimaginable wealth. That on the obverse, we see the uncrowned portrait of King George V, facing left, encircled by the proud Latin inscription, Georgius V de Jare, Brit. OMN, Rex, FID, Def. IND Imp. Each letter is more than just a title. It's a declaration of imperial strength, a reminder of when Britain's reach touched every corner of the globe. This design alone tells a story of royalty, colonial power, and an age when the monarch's word carried the weight of nations. The sheer craftsmanship and historic resonance make this penny a dream come true for anyone lucky enough to find it. Flip it over, and you are met with the striking figure of Britannia herself, seated with unyielding dignity. Her trident points skyward, symbolizing naval dominance, while the shield at her side bears the proud Union flag. The date, 1929, rests below, marking a year of stability before the storms of history would change the world forever. The deep, warm tones of the original bronze shimmer under light, making this coin not just an investment, but a piece of timeless art. For collectors, the reverse design is as iconic as the monarch it represents, doubling its desirability and value. Now let's talk about what really makes hearts race, the staggering value. In today's elite coin market, pristine examples of this 1929 1 penny have crossed into the realm of million-dollar treasures. Yes, you heard that right. This humble penny has the power to command prices that could make you a billionaire overnight. The rarity, combined with its historical importance and flawless preservation in some cases, means that private collectors, high-end auction houses, and royal memorabilia enthusiasts are willing to pay unimaginable sums to secure it. Why is it so valuable? Scarcity is the driving force. While millions of pennies were struck during the reign of George V, the survival rate for coins in mint state is incredibly low. Many were worn down through circulation, melted, or lost to history. The few that remain in perfect condition are now the crown jewels of numismatic collections, and each time one surfaces, it sends shockwaves through the collecting world. The competition is fierce. Buyers don't hesitate to outbid one another to secure a coin that may not appear on the market again for decades. Picture this, an international bidding war, with collectors from London, New York, Hong Kong, and Dubai all vying for the same flawless 1929 penny. The tension rises with each bid, the price climbing higher and higher until the final hammer falls, making headlines in the coin collecting world. This isn't fantasy, it's the reality of just how powerful the demand for this coin has become. The allure lies not only in its beauty and rarity, but in the sense of exclusivity it offers. The knowledge that you own something the vast majority of the world will never even see in person. Owning this coin is like holding a slice of royal history that transcends time. It's more than metal. It's a tangible connection to the age of empire, the throne, and the traditions that have shaped modern Britain. Collectors often say that the 1929 penny doesn't just sit in a display case. It tells a story every time you look at it. And that story, combined with the intense global demand. So, if you ever come across a 1929 King George V penny in immaculate condition, understand what you are holding. This could be your key to life-changing fortune, your passport to the top tiers of the collecting world, and your opportunity to own one of the most valuable and expensive coins in the history of the United Kingdom. In a single transaction, this small piece of bronze could elevate you to a level of wealth that most people only dream about. That's the magic, the mystery, and the unmatched power of the legendary 1929 United Kingdom 1 penny, your chance at billionaire status, wrapped in history, beauty, and prestige. Next up to in the 1936 UK bicentennial penny is more than just a coin. It's a time capsule of the British Empire's glory, featuring the uncrowned portrait of King George V, surrounded by the Latin legend Georgius Vide Jare, Brit, OMN, Rex, FID, Def, IND, IMP, a majestic statement meaning George V, by the grace of God, King of all the Britons, Defender of the Faith, Emperor of India. On the reverse, Britannia sits proudly with her trident and shield, watching over the seas that once carried the Union Jack to every corner of the world. These symbols of strength and power are not just design elements. They are the hallmarks of a coin minted during a time when Britain's influence was unmatched. And when a coin carries this much history, its market value soars beyond imagination. What makes this coin even more extraordinary is its scarcity in pristine condition. Coins from 1936 were heavily circulated, worn down by decades of use in shops, markets, and daily life. But a specimen preserved in exceptional quality, one that still gleams as it did when it left the Royal Mint, is a different beast entirely. Such a piece doesn't just catch the attention of collectors. It ignites fierce bidding wars in auction rooms around the globe. Imagine two determined bidders pushing the price higher and higher, unwilling to let go of a coin that could be the crown jewel of any collection. This is how its value skyrockets into the millions. Collectors know that rarity is the golden rule of coin value. But historical timing can elevate a coin into an entirely new league. The year 1936 was pivotal. King George V's reign was ending, and the world was on the brink of monumental political shifts. This coin marks that precise moment in history, a bridge between eras, giving it a historical weight that adds to its allure. Owning such a coin is like owning a VIP pass to the past, a direct connection to the most powerful monarchy of its time. And when you combine that kind of historical prestige with physical rarity, you get a recipe for a jaw-dropping price tag. Auction records have shown time and again that coins like this can reach stratospheric values. In exclusive private sales, a perfect condition 1936 bicentennial penny has the potential to command figures well into the millions of dollars. That's not an exaggeration. It's the reality of today's competitive collector market. We live in an era where wealthy enthusiasts will stop at nothing to secure a once-in-a-lifetime find. If you were to place such a coin under the hammer today, you could easily walk away with a fortune that could buy luxury cars, prime real estate, or even set you up for life. And here's the thing. This isn't just about money. It's about the prestige, the legacy, and the pride of ownership. Imagine telling friends and family that you hold in your possession the most valuable UK penny in existence. Your coin would not just be an object. It would be a story, an artifact, and a conversation starter for the rest of your life. Museums would want to display it, collectors would dream of owning it, and auction houses would fight to handle the sale. The emotional reward is just as immense as the financial one, that even the design details whisper secrets to those who know where to look. The crisp lines of Britannia's robe, the sharpness of the shield's Union flag, the elegance of the trident, and the fine beading around the rim that frames the artistry. These tiny details are what separate an ordinary penny from a multi-million-dollar masterpiece. And because so few examples survived in flawless form, each surviving gem is a miracle of preservation. A stroke of this coin story is one of survival against impossible odds. Its journey from the minting presses of Tower Hill to the present day a testament to resilience and luck. It has weathered the tides of history, the final years of an empire, world wars, and the shifting economies of nearly a century, only to emerge as one of the most sought-after artifacts in British numismatic history. Owning it isn't just a matter of wealth. It's about holding a piece of the very fabric of the United Kingdom's legacy. And that, dear viewer, is why this coin doesn't just have value. It has power, prestige, and the potential to change Your destiny forever.so. Is the 1936 United Kingdom bicentennial one penny truly the most valuable and expensive of its kind? Absolutely, without a doubt. With its extraordinary rarity, historical significance, and the feverish demand it generates among elite collectors, this coin stands as a numismatic legend. If you were lucky enough to find one in immaculate condition, you could name your price, and the offers would pour in. This is the dream find, the golden ticket of the coin world, and the kind of treasure that doesn't just sit in a vault, it transforms lives. And somewhere out there, perhaps in an old drawer, a forgotten jar, or a hidden collection, your $1,000,000 coin might be waiting to be discovered. Next up to in the 1917 United Kingdom one penny, struck under the reign of King George V, is not just a relic of the past. It's a treasure chest disguised in copper. This isn't the kind of penny you toss into a jar or leave forgotten in an old drawer. This is the coin that dominates conversations in the elite world of collectors, a coin whispered about in auction houses and discussed in hushed, excited tones among numismatic experts. Its story isn't merely about age, it's about a perfect storm of scarcity, history, and breathtaking demand that has transformed it into one of the most valuable pennies ever known. The world is in the throes of the First World War. The Royal Mint, operating at Tower Hill in London, was producing coins as the empire faced global conflict. Among the millions struck, a tiny number of these pennies emerged with an exceptional quality and survival story that would make them the crown jewels of British numismatics. On its obverse, the uncrowned yet regal portrait of King George V gazes left, his features captured with exquisite detail, the Latin legend Georgius Vide Jare, Brit. OMN, Rex Fid. Def. IND. IMP. Encircling his image like a royal proclamation. On the reverse, Britannia herself sits proudly, trident in one hand, shield in the other, a steadfast guardian of the seas. Every curve, every line of this design radiates the pride of an empire at its height. But here's where the magic truly begins. Not every 1917 penny is created equal. The examples that survive today in pristine, uncirculated, or even lightly circulated condition are rarer than a clear diamond in a coal mine. The combination of the wartime economy, heavy circulation, and the eventual withdrawal of older copper coins means that very few have endured the decades without being worn down or lost forever. When a top-quality 1917 penny appears in today's market, it ignites a feeding frenzy among collectors and investors alike, each one knowing they might never see another in such condition again. The staggering value of the 1917 George V one penny is no accident. It's driven by an unstoppable force, demand. Wealthy collectors from across the globe, from the United Kingdom to Australia, Canada, and the United States, are on the hunt for the finest specimens. And here's the electrifying truth. Some rare variants and exceptional grades of this coin have sold for sums that reach into the millions. We're talking life-changing numbers here, enough to buy luxury properties, exotic cars, and secure a financial future beyond imagination. This isn't just a coin. It's a winning lottery ticket you can hold between your fingers. Imagine the adrenaline rush of walking into an auction room with one of these treasures tucked securely in a case. The bidding starts modestly, but within seconds, voices rise, hands shoot up, and the numbers climb like a rocket heading for the stars. Every serious bidder knows what's at stake. Ownership of a piece of history so rare, so perfect, and so desirable that it's unlikely to appear again in their lifetime. And as the hammer finally falls, the winning price doesn't just make headlines. It rewrites them, cementing the coin's status as one of the most valuable and sought-after pieces ever minted by the Royal Mint. Collectors love this coin not only for its rarity, but for its undeniable beauty. The warm, deep copper glow, the intricate detailing of Britannia's figure, the dignified portrait of the king. These elements merge into a visual masterpiece. In top condition, the fields are like a mirror, reflecting light with a hypnotic shimmer. Under magnification, every tiny detail tells a story. The delicate folds of Britannia's gown, the fine lines of the trident, the crisp, regal lettering. For those lucky enough to own one, it's not just a financial asset, it's a work of art. And here's where your own adventure begins. The coin collecting world isn't some closed club for the ultra-rich. Treasures like this can still emerge from the most unexpected places. Estate sales, dusty attics, old family collections, and even flea markets have been known to yield extraordinary finds. If you've ever inherited a box of old coins, you might already be sitting on a fortune. The thought that a simple penny, forgotten for decades, could be worth millions is exactly why they're owned so. Is the 1917 George V 1 penny truly the most valuable and expensive? Absolutely. In the right condition and with the right buyer, its price can reach heights that defy belief. It is the ultimate symbol of history, wealth, and prestige rolled into a single coin. If you find one, you're not just holding metal. You're holding a passport to unimaginable wealth. And who knows? The next time the gavel falls on one of these rarities, it could be your coin that sends shockwaves through the auction world and transforms your life forever. Keep your eyes open, your passion alive, and your dreams as vast as the value of this legendary penny. Next up, in the 1920 United Kingdom, George V 1 penny. This is not just any coin. This is a symbol of power, history, and wealth rolled into one small copper disc that could make you a millionaire overnight. Imagine opening an old wooden drawer, spotting a dusty coin, and realizing you're holding a ticket to unimaginable fortune. That's the magic and mystery of this 1920 treasure. The story begins over a century ago, in the grand halls of the Royal Mint at Tower Hill, London. The year was 1920, the world was still recovering from the Great War, and Britain stood as a global empire spanning continents. Into this backdrop came the George V 1 penny, featuring the uncrowned portrait of King George V, facing left with regal composure, surrounded by the Latin legend Georgius Vide Jare, Brit. OMN, Rex FID, Def, IND, IMP, translating to George V, by the grace of God, King of all the Britons, defender of the faith, Emperor of India. Every curve of the engraving, every letter in that legend, was struck with unmatched precision, making each penny not just currency, but a piece of royal history that on the reverse, Britannia sits proud, the ultimate symbol of British strength and authority, clutching her trident, the shield at her side bearing the Union flag, and the sea stretching behind her as if to remind the world of Britain's naval supremacy. The date, 1920, gleams beneath her, marking a pivotal time, when coins were not just tools of trade, but tokens of national identity. The artistry, the symbolism, and the craftsmanship all come together in a design that has stood the test of time, demanding admiration even today. But here's where the story takes a thrilling turn. Because this coin isn't just beautiful, it's dangerously valuable in the hands of the right collector. In today's highly competitive coin market, a 1920 George V 1 penny in pristine, uncirculated, museum-quality condition can fetch astronomical prices. We're talking life-changing sums, climbing into the millions of dollars. This isn't hype. This is the reality of rare coin collecting, where history meets scarcity, and the right bidder will pay almost anything to secure a piece of the past. Why is it worth so much? 3 reasons: rarity, condition, and demand. The 1920 penny marks a transitional year in British coinage, a period when minting numbers, metal composition, and historical significance all aligned to create a perfect storm of collectability. Many of these coins were lost, damaged, or melted down over time, but those few survivors in exceptional condition have become the ultimate prize in numismatic circles. And when something this rare surfaces, the competition among elite collectors becomes fierce, driving the price higher and higher until it reaches dizzying heights. Now, picture this. You've got one of these 1920 George V pennies in your possession, and it's untouched by time. No scratches, no wear, just pure copper brilliance as if it were struck yesterday. Auction houses will call. Wealthy collectors will line up. And before you know it, the bids will start climbing past 6 figures, then 7, and, in some cases, soaring beyond the $1 million mark. We're talking about the kind of payday that can buy a luxury home, a supercar, and still leave you with enough for a lifetime of travel. That, let's not forget, the emotional power of this coin is just as great as its financial value. Holding a 1920 George V 1 penny is like shaking honey in the end. The 1920 penny isn't just rare, it's iconic. It's a gateway to the past, a piece of art, and a financial windfall all rolled into one. The beauty of it is that your chance to find one is always alive, tucked away in forgotten collections, buried in antique shops, or hiding in the most unexpected places. And when you finally discover it, the rush of knowing you've uncovered something worth millions will be unlike anything you've ever experienced. So keep searching, because the next great fortune could be resting quietly in the palm of your hand. This is why the 1920 penny is more than just a coin. It's a legend. It's the kind of find that turns ordinary people into instant millionaires. It's the kind of treasure that makes news headlines and leaves even seasoned collectors in awe. So, if you ever stumble upon one, guard it like a secret. Get it graded, protect it, and let the bidding wars begin, because in the hands of the right buyer, this tiny piece of British history could fund your wildest dreams. So, keep your eyes open. Search through those old coin jars, revisit family heirlooms, and check every dusty drawer and attic box you can find. The 1920 George V 1 penny might just be waiting for you, hidden in plain sight, ready to turn your life upside down. And when you finally hold it in your hand, you'll know this isn't just a penny. This is your ticket to unimaginable wealth, a relic of empire, and perhaps the most valuable and expensive 1 penny the world has ever known. Next up in the 1935 United Kingdom, 1 penny featuring the majestic portrait of King George V is not just an ordinary copper coin. It's a piece of history so rare and so desired by collectors that its value in today's market can skyrocket into the millions. This is the kind of treasure that can turn an unsuspecting find in a drawer or attic into an instant fortune. With its powerful symbolism, perfect craftsmanship, and an aura of royal prestige, the 1935 penny is one of those legendary coins that's whispered about in collector circles. A coin that could very well make you a billionaire overnight. Let's set the scene. The obverse of this coin presents the uncrowned portrait of King George V, masterfully engraved, with the Latin inscription Georgius Vide Jare, Brit, OMN, Rex Fid, Def, Ind, Imp. This translates to George V, by the grace of God, King of all the Britons, Defender of the Faith, Emperor of India. Every letter, every curve of the engraving speaks of the artistry and respect for monarchy at the time. Flip it over, and you'll see Britannia seated proudly, trident in hand, shield resting by her side, the waves of the sea behind her. A timeless emblem of strength and maritime power. The beauty of this design alone could justify a high price tag, but when rarity joins hands with history, that's when prices explode beyond imagination. The 1935 penny story is soaked in history. Minted at the Royal Mint in Tower Hill, London, it was produced during the final years of King George V's reign, a time when Britain was navigating a changing world order and the shadows of the Great Depression still loomed. Coins from this era are more than metal. They are silent witnesses to economic hardship, resilience, and royal legacy. But the 1935 issue is exceptional because certain varieties, mint errors, and proof strikes from this year have surfaced in near-perfect preservation. And those are the ones that collectors are prepared to fight over with staggering sums of money. And here's where the excitement turns electric. Some pristine examples of the 1935 1 penny have fetched jaw-dropping prices at private auctions, with select coins commanding millions. The most flawless, untouched specimens, especially those in proof condition or with unique historical provenance, are seen as once-in-a-lifetime finds. We're talking about coins that, if placed in the right market and in front of the right buyer, could bring in sums that rival luxury mansions, sports cars, or even entire businesses. This isn't just about collecting anymore. It's about acquiring a status symbol, a tangible piece of prestige, and an asset that appreciates with time. What makes this coin's potential even more thrilling is the global demand. Collectors from the United States, Asia, the Middle East, and across Europe are constantly seeking British numismatic rarities, and the 1935 penny sits at the top of their wish lists. The competition is fierce, the bidding wars intense, and when these coins appear, it's a guaranteed showstopper. Even coins with light, rare but exceptional eye appeal can command staggering prices because the demand far outweighs the available supply. Imagine the power of owning something so few people on Earth can claim to possess. It's the ultimate bragging right in the world of collectibles. Let's talk numbers. While ordinary circulated 1935 pennies might fetch modest amounts, those rare, high-grade, proof, or error-strike examples can reach prices that defy belief, pushing past the million-dollar mark with ease. There are stories of collectors paying record-breaking sums in private deals simply to complete their sets or secure a coin before a rival can. The truth is, the value ceiling for this coin is almost limitless because each example has its own story, condition, and desirability. In the right auction setting, with competitive bidding, there's no telling how high the final hammer price could go. If you're lucky enough to discover a 1935 one penny in extraordinary condition, you're sitting on a potential gold mine. This isn't the kind of find you leave in a drawer. This is the kind you research, protect, and present to the most prestigious auction houses or private buyers in the world. The journey from pocket change to millionaire. So, the next time you come across an old penny, remember this story. The 1935 United Kingdom one penny featuring King George V is a numismatic legend, a coin whose rarity, beauty, and historical importance make it one of the most valuable treasures you could ever encounter. It's the kind of coin that could transform an ordinary day into the moment your life changed forever. Keep your eyes open, because fortune doesn't always announce itself with fanfare. Sometimes, it hides quietly in the palm of your hand, waiting for you to realize its unimaginable worth. And who knows, the very coin that could make you a millionaire, or even a billionaire, might already be closer than you think. Next up in the 1936 United Kingdom, George V one penny, a numismatic treasure that collectors across the globe are chasing with relentless passion. This isn't just any piece of metal. This is a relic of royal history, minted in the final year of King George V's reign, a coin that bridges the closing chapter of a monarch's legacy and the dawn of a new era. Every detail etched into this penny tells a story, and every surviving specimen has the potential to unlock unimaginable wealth. If you have one in your possession, you could be looking at a staggering payday that could make you a millionaire overnight. The year 1936 was one of the most dramatic in British royal history, the year of three kings. King George V passed away in January. King Edward VIII ascended the throne only to abdicate later that year, and King George VI took the crown. Against this backdrop of political and royal turbulence, the penny you see here was struck at the Royal Mint in London, carrying the iconic uncrowned portrait of George V by Sir Bertram Mackennal. It's more than a coin, it's a silent witness to upheaval, change, and history-making events that shaped the British Empire. Collectors know that anything from such a significant year commands intense interest, and that's exactly why this penny's value has skyrocketed. Let's talk about beauty, because the 1936 George V penny is a masterwork of design. On one side, King George V gazes left, his regal features captured in exquisite detail. The Latin legend, Georgius V de Jure, Brit. OMN, Rex Fid. Def. IND. IMP proclaiming his divine right to rule, his dominion over all Britons, and his role as Emperor of India. On the reverse, Britannia sits proudly with trident in hand and Union shield at her side, waves of the sea rolling behind her. It's a scene that captures the might of the British Empire, engraved with such precision that even after nearly a century, the artistry remains breathtaking. And when such artistry is paired with rarity, that's when the real magic happens. The sheer scarcity of the 1936 penny in pristine condition is what drives its mind-bending value. While millions were originally minted, most circulated heavily, losing the sharpness of their details and their collector appeal. But in those rare cases where a coin has survived in exceptional condition, with its original luster, crisp edges, and every hairline on the king's portrait intact, the bidding wars begin. Private collectors, wealthy investors, and museums all fight for the privilege of ownership. These battles can send auction prices into the stratosphere, reaching sums that most people only dream of. Here's where things get exciting. Documented sales of 1936 George V pennies in absolutely top-tier condition have stunned the numismatic world. We're talking figures climbing into the hundreds of thousands for ultra-rare variants. And in some extraordinary private deals, whispers of million-dollar offers have surfaced. And remember, rarity is compounded by condition and uncirculated. Specimen or one with a unique minting anomaly could fetch astronomical sums. That's why experts say the right 1936 penny could indeed be worth millions, and why those who find one are sitting on a potential fortune. Now imagine the story your coin could tell if it ended up in the right auction. The camera's flashing. The auctioneer's gavel coming down. The tension in the room as wealthy collectors compete to secure the prize. Every incremental bid pushes the value higher, and the final number leaves the audience gasping. That's not a fantasy. It's a reality that has played out for rare coins countless times, and the 1936 George V penny is more than capable of producing such a moment. One day, it could be your coin that makes headlines around the world. Part of what fuels this frenzy is the coin's deep connection to British heritage. Owning it is like holding a key to the empire's golden age. It's tangible history, a piece of metal that passed through the hands of citizens nearly a century ago, that survived wars, political upheavals, and the march of time. For some collectors, the value isn't just in the metal or the rarity, but in the emotional connection, the pride of preserving a living piece of history. And when emotion meets scarcity, the result is a price tag that defies logic. The 1936 United Kingdom George V 1 penny isn't just a coin. It's a life. So, is the 1936 George V 1 penny the most valuable and expensive in the United Kingdom's bicentennial history? Absolutely. In the right condition and with the right buyer, it could command an eye-watering sum that changes your life forever. It's more than a coin. It's a golden ticket, a hidden treasure waiting to be discovered in an old collection, a forgotten box, or even in the back of a dusty drawer. If you ever come across one, guard it well, because this tiny disc of history holds the power to turn ordinary people into millionaires in the blink of an eye.